Hey guys, been really captivated lately about Jesus' teachings there in the Sermon on the Mount, specifically on giving and fasting and praying, and his call to do these things, to practice these things in a secret place, right? In a place where no one can see except for God. Calling us to a kind of reorientation of not just doing things for God in the presence of other people, but doing things with God when no one else can see, right? And you're in that space where there aren't any eyes and you are forced to find God's gaze in the midst of intense discipline, in the midst of silence, solitude, and self-sacrifice, right? When you're giving your stuff away and you want to be praised for it, it forces you to seek out and know the favor of God as opposed to the favor of man. It's just easier to fall back on the favor of man if it's there. So Jesus is calling us to be disciplined in the way that we know God's strength and God's affection and God's reward, right? So saw that the other day in David's life. David goes to the front lines. He's just a youth. He's going to go and he's trying to convince Saul to let him fight Goliath. Saul is basically saying, you're out of your mind. This guy has been fighting since he was a youth, and you are but a youth. And David brings up the ways that God has trained him and discipled him in the secret place, right, when no one else was watching, when he was tending the sheep, and bears and lions, so like plural, bears and lions, multiple occasions, steal sheep, and David had to hunt them down. He said he would strike them and take the lamb out of its mouth. And then if it rose up against him, he'd grab it by the face hair and strike it dead, right? He'd slay it. Because God had given him that kind of confidence when no one else was looking, he is audacious. I mean, you could tell even as you're reading that David's just burning up to slay Goliath, and he has the confidence to do it because God's taught him how to slay in the secret place, in the quiet place. It's just striking to see Jesus' teachings there in David's life, and to see Jesus as the God of even the Old Testament. But this Lent season, in the midst of corporately engaging, fasting, want to continue to encourage you guys to be mindful of whose eyes you're looking for. I love the covenant of doing it with other people and the accountability that comes along with it. Look for opportunities to know him in the secret place, in the quiet place, when no one else is watching, when no one else is looking. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And it's cool that we can all practice this together, knowing God's affection, knowing God's gaze. Loved seeing that in David's life. Loved Jesus' teachings on it, and loved being able to practice it with all of you guys. Love you. Grace and peace. Thankful for the soul rights.